It's crooked. Okay.
We can deal.
Existential crises. You too can have your own, and most definitely will at some point in your life. How many of you guys, by a show of hands, are actually familiar with the term existential? Existential? Okay, cool. That's good, because it's kind of messed up. Like, this is, you know, thanks, Merriam-Webster. This is what they have to say about it, but simply put, it seems to be the way you relate to or deal with the world on an internal level. So it's the way that you react emotionally, like the little inside voice of you talking to you throughout the course of the day. So don't confuse it. You can't really see him with that guy. That's Kierkegaard. He's my favorite. But not existentialism, the philosophical school of thought, like just existential. Okay. The cool thing about the existential crisis is that it's basically a choose-your-own-adventure sort of affair. It's always going to be personal because it's existential. It's all about you. And it seems like it would be a pretty convoluted thing, but it's actually quite simple. In 3 steps, it would probably come down to introducing cognitive dissonance, which we've mentioned in class earlier, agitating the cognitive dissonance, and then destabilizing your life. It's really not that bad. So starting with cognitive dissonance, we have a new behavior that conflicts with your old, cherished beliefs, things you never questioned about yourself, you just knew. They were intrinsic to you. And when you're challenged in that way, I guess the easiest way to relate it would be the midlife crisis. That's essentially an existential crisis, and the crisis of cognitive dissonance there would be that you're young. You go through your life, you are young, you deal with the world from your young perspective, and then all of a sudden you look in the mirror one day and clearly you are old. And that hits you like a ton of bricks, and you're suddenly having to rationalize fact versus feeling. And the opinions that you've held up until this point in time, like, are they your own now, or should they be? So you get this challenging behavior, cognitive dissonance. A good quick example, you look at the words, you can read the words, but you're not supposed to read the words. You're just supposed to just react to the color and state the color. And if you actually try to do this exercise, that's what it feels like. But it would feel like that on this emotional level that just blows your mind. So just we'll stick with the whole midlife crisis thing because that's probably the easiest comparison. And cognitive dissonance might be common enough, but once you've identified the one that keeps you up at night, you're ready to agitate that established norm and move to phase 2. This did it for me. Basically, it's introducing some sort of material that you find yourself agreeing with and you don't necessarily know why or like the fact that you agree with it. This book ruined my life last summer. I read it because I was bored, and about halfway through I was like, I'm screwed. This is, it threw me for a loop, and I'm not going to get into why, but this definitely helped me carry on my little issue of cognitive dissonance that I was already having to that second phase of just agitating it. So introducing outside information, doing some form of research on your own, taking the interest to look into it, will definitely get you through that second step. And then naturally you're going to isolate yourself. Because you're like, nobody talk to me, everybody leave me alone, I'm losing my mind, I don't know what's happening at this point. And it's only natural that when you become that shocked, you will kind of pull into yourself. So after that point, it's kind of difficult. The result is going to be an emo breakdown. Like, you're going to freak out. You're going to reject whatever the new information was that caused the dissonance. You're going to feel desperate, and ultimately you're going to go into this phase of deep loneliness, deep existential loneliness. And I think that's when people go out and buy the sports car or get the lame haircut. So anyway, isolation. That sucks. So the last thing is destabilization, which really drives it home. We have Maslow's hierarchy of need here, and you could mess with any of these to destabilize your life, but the lower 3 levels, I think, is what really drives it home. So jeopardizing your immediate well-being physically, moving, losing a job, breaking up, getting together with somebody, that'll be enough to really throw you up and seal the deal. But you don't have to merely wait for a midlife crisis of your own. You can pretty much blow out of proportion anything that really affects you and means something to you to the place where this could happen. And it starts with cognitive dissonance, and then you just agitate that, and then finally you destabilize. And it's not really that bad of a thing when you get down to it, because it's probably going to happen. But you should know yourself. Like Socrates says that the unquestioned life is not worth living. And sometimes you encounter things that get you there. It's like not a bad place to start, but it's a horrible place to end. So existential crisis. Thank you.